David Cross is going to present what's called the Randolph County School System Workforce Roadmap. He's been working on this for a long time at RCC and very excited about this as we continue to develop things throughout our school system, taking students from kindergarten through past graduation, but in particular grade 5 through past graduation for this. So David.
All right, good afternoon, board, leadership team. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today. And so it's really coming to a culminating title of the Workforce Roadmap. I'm excited to talk about it today. CT department, along with principals, school-based staff, and a lot of support here from the leadership team, it's helped bring this entire plan to fruition. So excited to say that every single student in grades 5 through 12 will be supported by the Workforce Roadmap. It is our official college and career readiness continuum. So the why. So my presentation today, I'm going to really focus on the why we developed such a mega framework around employability skills. I'm going to talk about how this looks across grades 5, middle school, high school, and how it aligns with post-secondary, Randolph Community College, and then I'll leave some time for questions. Okay? So talking about the why, we all know there's a national workforce shortage. There are nearly twice as many open jobs as there are workers to fill them, and there are critical shortages in healthcare, education, and manufacturing. So pretty much every one person looking for work, there are 2 vacancies. So we have a big task in front of us. So on the positive side, Randolph County has a 3.6% unemployment rate, and that's solid. It's really good. So we have a lot of people in Randolph County that are currently working. However, we do have lots of vacancies to fill. Companies are deciding where to locate and expand based largely on the availability of workers, the talent pipeline. You know, it's exciting to think that since December 2021, Randolph County Industries has created over 7,000 jobs with an average wage of over $57,000. And we have approximately $14.6 billion has been invested just in Randolph County since that time. So that is a lot. And so, quick stat, like our tax base going up into this investment was right around $14 billion. So we've already had more investment just by these industries than our entire tax base going up prior to the investment. No good.
I went one too far. I can't see.
I'm sorry, I'm blocking it. Can you see?
I got click happy.
All right, so we're really focused with our framework on the Workforce Roadmap is we want to really emphasize employability skills. You know, the past 3 years, we got a chance to talk to a lot of industry partners, ask a lot of questions, and all of these things we're going to talk about today is very feedback-based, data-based, research-based. We want to make sure that everything we put in is going to be effective, and we're going to make sure all of our students are benefiting and ready for the workplace. So according to a 22 employer needs survey, 81% of employers had difficulty hiring workers. They said there were too few applicants, that there's a huge concern with employability and soft skills. They lack work experience and they lack technical skills. So North Carolina, with all that being said, North Carolina still ranks second in the U.S. to do business. So we have a lot of industries coming here. We have low taxes, low corporate taxes, and as you can see, Randolph County is just booming with industry. There's also a strong business environment. North Carolina continues to be well thought of in the business sector as being business friendly. What's exciting to me is that more jobs than ever require post-secondary education. Now, it doesn't have to be a 4-year degree. It can be a 2-year degree, it can be a certificate, it can be a workforce credential. And it's important for us, I think, to make sure that we take kids' interests, what they want to do, and help them navigate their elementary, middle, and high school and post-secondary journey to making sure that we're tailoring what they want to do and how they want to get there, and let them decide on which pathway. And we will be there to help catch that and revise that, so that way we're best educating them and they can reach their maximum potential. Our region is projected to have an increase of 50,000 jobs in the next several years due to massive industry investment. I take that seriously. I want to make sure that all of our students are front in line for these opportunities that are in our backyard. Slide, please. So here's a little bit about our CTE program. So we do the Workforce Roadmap. We also have 69 teachers. At the data at the end, you'll see a lot of our CTE numbers. But we have 69 teachers. We have 7 high school career development coordinators. All of our high schools have 1 career development coordinator, and that's what they do. They do career development all the time, and they support our CTE staff members. We have recently brought on 2 middle school career development coordinators, and they've been overseeing over 4,000 career development plans and really supporting the ag and computer science teachers, and also making sure we are reaching all of our 6th through 8th graders. As a school system, we offer 26 different pathways, and that ranges across all 16 career clusters. We offer over 95 courses. We have a strong partnership with Randolph Community College and the University of Mount Olive for our program at Providence Grove called Ag Experience, where kids get an associate's degree. And then really proud to say, over the 3 years, we have brought at least some sort of career education program to all 32 of our schools, listed on the right. Now, we don't serve all the grade levels, elementary, because CTE funding restricts me from going beneath 5th grade, but we're thinking creatively to reach K4. But we do have a program, career education program in all 32 of our schools. So this is our new brand. This is our new map. It's called a Workforce Roadmap. We give credit to Dr. Gainey for coming up with a name, because I think it really embodies what we're trying to do. So our big focus is to make sure all of our students have a positive post-secondary placement. We're really focused on making sure that students are college and career ready, no matter what they choose in their workforce journey. And that just kind of shows the framework. I'm about to go through 5th grade, middle school, and high school. That shows the whole map from 5th grade, what they get from our beginning level activities, career education experiences, all the way through RCC, which you'll start seeing that in 11th grade. So there's some of our pictures. We have a lot of pictures. We want to come and show those across the way, but we also provide a lot of money for field trips. We want to get a chance that kids go see outside the walls, realize all the different opportunities. Because, 6th grade is funny when you do career development plans, they come in to what they want to be. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a professional athlete. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. You're like, I love that. I love what you're saying. Let's go do that. Let's do that. Let's also have a good plan B just in case if you can't be 6, 8, can't dunk. All right, let's have a good backup plan. So here are some of the photos that represent that, and we'll go right into 5th grade. So career awareness. So we have this in really 3 different stages. So this is just really like, hey, what's your dream? Let's help you start kind of develop a plan. So I'm gonna go first to junior achievement 5th grade lessons. So we're on year 3 of doing this. We're part of a junior achievement. They go out and find partners in industry, and they come in our 5th grade classrooms. Like I know Toyota, they came and took over all of Liberty Elementary, and they provided just lessons on financial literacy and career awareness and career interest inventories, and just kind of really give them a basic level foundation of just like the value of a dollar, the importance of work, how to stretch money, how to budget. So just basic level foundations like that. And so JA finds volunteers, we screen them to go out, and we serve all of our 5th grade students with JA. We started high school tours last year. We're on year 3 of that with Eastern Randolph, year 2 across the board. And you can see some of the photos there. And so what we want them to do is we want them, as 5th graders, we push them towards their feeder pattern high school, where they're going to go when it's time to get in 9th grade. So they get a chance. We work with the principals, have done a great job. So principals have bands and cheerleaders, and we feature athletics and cultural arts and CTE programs. We want to see all the opportunities that exist if you can just get those wonky middle school years. Like, look at all this fun stuff you can do in high school. And so we get the chance to, we let them pet the animals. Who doesn't want to touch a baby goat? Like we have the ag programs, we have the students come out, and a lot of our senior leaders take the kids around and talk about, hey, when I was in Ramseur and I'm in Eastern Randolph, like I did this, this, and this. This helped me on my journey. So we take a lot of our FFA leaders and other leaders around the school and help them lead the tour. So in this, they get a chance to touch CTE equipment and learn from the students and get a chance to see all the different pathways out there. So big success, a lot of great feedback from schools and from the kids. All right, so middle school. So we're on year 2, really establishing this framework. So we've really started this career development plan. It's a 7 grade level career development plan. You can see a picture up at the top. It says CT Randolph Middle School, High School. So we've been doing this for a few years, but 6 through 12, this is really full year 2, full implementation. So our dream is to make sure as kids enter middle school, they're getting a plan that's created specifically for them. So our middle school CDCs leads tailored lessons, and a fall and a spring lesson in 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, focus on specific skills and career interest inventories on what they want to do. And we try to help them kind of show them, what do you want to do, how can you get there. Let's look at that more extensively. So 6th grade, our theme is they do a fall and spring lesson on really self-exploration. They take a career interest inventory, kind of look at their aptitudes and their interests and what they could possibly be. And we talk about goal setting. So you say you might want to be a doctor. What does that look like? Do you know you need 8 years of school for that? Like we start having those conversations with them in 6th grade. We also provide all of our middle schools a pot of funding so they can go to 2-year tours and 4-year schools and industry tours. They get a chance to go see examples of these things. 6th grade, we're in year 3 of having the Career Expo and Truck Fair. That's going to be around in the middle. I appreciate Gary Cook. He made 1,200 funnel cakes for us last year. The kids loved it. And so I had white powder all over my shirt that day because it was so good. But the Career Expo and Truck Fair is awesome. You can see the hearse. We have the hearse there. And really the funeral home business. So it's a big theme on trucks. We have SWAT vehicles and firefighter trucks and Mack trucks and anything with a career in a vehicle we can relate it to. We also have RCC comes. We have about 40 different partners, and the kids got a chance to tour and ask questions and play with the vehicle and got swag. And Mr. Cook probably tell you, it was really a great event. It had its funnel cakes, and it was just
It really picked up the second year too. I mean, you guys had it It was pretty wild. It was pretty cool.
Appreciate that. It was so much better.
It was
year
really,
2
they enjoyed it. It was cool.
I give a lot of credit to Stephanie Adams. She does a good job. She's the main orchestrator of that event, and we should have 40 to 60 partners again, and kids.
Can I share something though to the rest of the people here?
Oh, yes, sir.
The first year, okay? Now, I was wondering about it, but they didn't come back, but they had a hearse.
We did.
Well, that's
We did have a
right
hearse.
there.
Yeah, and there's about 25 or 30 people tried to put Dr. Gainey in it. That was the last time the hearse came.
They did. And it had a casket out.
And the casket was out, and they were trying,
Yes.
you know, volunteer, and everybody, let's put Dr. Gainey, and, hey, I'm not sure who made that call, but it did come
Kids were
back.
sprinting to the casket. I'm like,
Yeah,
we're gonna
I mean, it was like, it was,
Well, we need to
Yeah.
know what.
Like if they come back from no casket, but Seth at Random Grass was our speaker, he did a good job. And then we also provide, our CDCs work with school-based staff to provide, again, those trips. So 7th grade, so they're gonna pick their career, so let's say they wanna be a doctor, in 7th grade, they start doing research on it. So, because we want them to know, like, if you're gonna pick a career, like, it's gonna take a lot of work, and we wanna make sure you have the GPA and opportunities ready when you hit high school. So we start having them, you know, pick that career, and they start doing light research on that, and there's other structured activities along with the future career exploration. We had Beta Box come out, and that's like a school-based field trip, it's something we bring it to your campus. It's very focused on STEM activities and drones and robotics, and it's about a 45-minute lesson. Beta Box comes, they drop their trailer, it's very hands-on with the kids. We run 45-minute stations, and it's a real big play on like engineering, STEAM, robotics, stuff like that. So we did that last year, excited to have them back this year. Ag is huge for us. So we have ag at all of our middle schools, we have ag at all of our high schools, so we do Ag Pathway Day. So the middle school and high school teams or teachers will work together. They'll plan a big experience for the middle school kids to come see the high school program, and they get a chance to do like an industry tour. So just really learn about what is ag. Ag's massive for us. It's billions of dollars for our academy, or to our economy, and they do a really nice job. The kids have a great time, very hands-on. And then we provide the career education trip. 8th grade, so this is our final piece of it. So kids have researched, they pick their career, now it's time to do the presentation piece. So before I talked about the importance of employability skills, we task our CDCs to work with schools to make sure the kids are presenting their project in some capacity, whether that be to a neighbor, to like a career education night. We want kids to understand their content, and we feel like that's the best way for them to digest that content and then present it in some capacity so they can really learn those important employability skills. So they do the career research project. They have really turned out nice as we continue to get better at this. And so I'm excited at the end of this year to see some of this product and the kids stand up and talk about what they've learned. Manufacturing Pathway Day, we just had that on Tuesday. All like groups of about 20 8th graders got a chance to go tour 2 manufacturing plants. We have students at work, which is very career exploration centered. We have the Be Pro Be Proud trailer. We just did that in September. And you can see some of the pictures there. We had a big trailer come out. It's a big focus on the trades. There's like forklift simulators and Mack truck simulators and plumbing simulators. It's very focused on the trades. About 20 different VR simulations, and kids get a chance to go play and learn about the trades and do activities. Like I tried to change the oil with VR. It is very difficult, but it's so real. It's amazing. So I thought the kids really enjoyed that. Slide. So 9 through 12, so here's our career preparation and participation activities. So one of our big initiatives is we have continued to push the 6 through 12 CDP. We have formed post-graduation teams, and so we want to be good teammates with our counselors and principals and lead teachers. We want to make sure that we're working with our school-based teams to work on this CDP process. And so we meet monthly, and that's been going really well to continue to work as the opportunities for kids continue to expand, and there's a lot of different opportunities. So I think the more we can share the knowledge, it's a really great thing. We offer career development plans 9 through 12. It's a little bit different than middle school. Our goal is to make sure that their kid is updating their plan each year, and there's a conversation around the plan with a school-based staff member. Because I feel like there's a lot of power in the conversation because there's just so much information and there's so many courses and so many different pathways. I think the conversation piece is highly valuable as you're making decisions on registration and what you want to do. We partner with communities and schools. We offer the reality tour to all of our 9th grade students. We did that across the system last year. So pretty much you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, kids will go to the media center. We have people from industry, they come in. It's like, hey, you get assigned a card and say, David, you're a plumber, you make $3,500, you're married, you have 2 kids. And you go to each of the stations and you're shopping. Like you shop for housing and cars and groceries, and the kids learn quick that what? I'm running out of money. So I gotta make really great decisions. So if I wanna have a party mansion, I gotta really figure out a way to make more money. And so we have really great conversation around how far do you stretch your dollars, how do you budget, hey, if you want to, you need higher education to make more, stuff like that. So community schools does a great job with that, and they bring it to us, and I think it's a great thing for our ninth grade students. Pathway Days, we're working with RCC, they do a great job hosting us. We have Manufacturing Day and Automotive Day, and I think this year we're looking more for a Trades Day, but we bring groups of 10th graders, we just had it on Friday, and we have Automotive Day, we got a chance to see the RCC Petty Lab, and then our bus garage did a great job of providing just hands-on experience for our kids. They got a chance to go under the buses and do activities and diagnose repairs, so really big focus on these specific industries. We provide money for high schools, so they can go to 4-year tours and 2-year tours, and get a chance to go see the different post-secondary options. We're on year 3 of the 11th grade career expo. We have that at Journey Church. We take all of our juniors to Journey Church. We have about 60 to 70 partners. All the RCC department heads are there, and we feature Apprenticeship Randolph. I mean, we want our students to engage with our local industries, to learn about the different careers that are in our backyard. And so we have representatives from all of the different career clusters. So we have great partners, looking at about 60 to 70 partners this year. Randolph Next, we've had that in the past, that's for undecided seniors. So we've gone all the way up until senior year, I'm still looking for a plan. In the past 2 years, we've taken the RCC, they get a chance to tour a couple program sessions, and we have a job fair, still looking at that this spring. Tech Teams is a partnership with Sheena Creech and with Michael Sugg, IT department. We're really, with all the Chromebooks that we have out there, we're really trying to work on kids being the people to service these Chromebooks. So we're on year 3 of that, Sheena, is that right? We call it Tech Mates. You can see the beautiful green arrow there. So we pretty much have juniors and seniors working with our IT folks and media specialists, and they're learning all the ins and outs of how to service devices. So it's been really good. We're expanding in Southwest this year, and really, and the kids at Warren Ridge, they're on year 3 of this, and it's pretty much having like an IT person there, like they can do it all. And so they've done a really nice job. We're continuing to take steps to expand that program. We've recently adopted computer engineering at Providence Grove and Random High School to build 3 levels of building those skills so kids can be ready for that program. Next slide. All right, so Apprenticeship Randolph, that's our flagship program. I think we're going to year 9 of that, also with RCC. Again, 3-year program. We have 17 local partners, heavy manufacturing. So students that go through this program, I'm sure you've heard, they get a chance to get a Journey Worker Certificate, an associate's degree, and a job placement with their company, all at no cost. I think the average wage of kids completing that program is about $45,000, $50,000, give or take. So I mean, they're coming out with some big salaries coming out, all at no cost. So it's been a powerful program for us. You can see the recognition. I think Stacey's going back to the White House to be recognized. But it's been a great consortium for years. Dr. Gaines helped champion that program for us. Province of North Carolina has been recognized on the national level, talked about what they receive, and then we have really taken advantage of this as a school system. Through 8 cohorts, we assigned over 104 students, and that's how the breakdown has been: 94 advanced manufacturing, 7 automotive, and 3 IT. So really proud of these statistics, and these are CTE statistics and school system highlights, so not all of this is related directly to CTE, but I did want to feature some of the accomplishments that's happening across our school system, because we have a lot of schools doing a lot of great things. So over last year, I talked about those career education experiences. Here's like the culminating numbers of that. So we provided 24 4-year college tours, 25 2-year tours, 42 industry tours, and that's like outside of all the other trips that we have in the workforce roadmap. We officially have a 6 through 12 career development plan. The CTE department, we earned over 7,366 credentials, and our pass rate was about 87%. So that's showing that our CTE teachers are doing a lot of great things. When our kids sit for credentials, high chance they're going to successfully complete it. And usually the credentials that we earn usually place in about top 10 in the state in North Carolina, even though we're 23rd in size. So we have a lot of kids take advantage of the credentials in our school system. We're really proud of the concentrators. So our big goal in CTE, along with the Workforce Roadmap, is we want to make sure students are getting through their pathways. So if they're taking Health Science 1, we want to make sure they're getting Health Science 2. If they're taking core construction, I want to make sure they get Carpentry 1 and Carpentry 2. I want to make sure they're getting through the pathway and getting those credentials along the line, and then lining up to post-secondary opportunities. So With that being said, so we had 937 students last year complete a CT pathway. We had 1,108 duplicated concentrators, so that's kids being multiple concentrators, so concentrating in 2 different areas. So really proud of those numbers. CCP, this is beyond CTE, this is a Randolph County School System highlight. 2,108 seats in partnership with RCC. I mean, that's moving. That is a lot of kids getting free college. The Randolph County School System, we pay for textbooks, we pay for non-consumable supplies. So we have a lot of students taking advantage of free college right now in our traditional high schools. The early college, they do that anyway through their natural programming, but this is happening in our traditional schools, again, in partnership with RCC. We had 80% of those students earn C or higher, so that's earning dual credit, so they get some high school credit and college credit. And what's great about CCP is when they earn this credit, like it's gonna roll into any public four-year institution in North Carolina. 92.5% of these students pass their course, so these students we're taking a lot of courses and they're being very successful. Here's some of the final numbers. So last year, 25 students earned a post-secondary certificate or credential, and that could be like a 4-course certificate, like I'm talking about in the academies, or something like welding. We had 10 students earned complete an associate's degree through college transfer, and we have 5 students complete their associates through the Mount Olive program. So that's a heavy course load, so I do want to recognize the students who completed that. So the past 2 years, I've been up here talking about the career academies. So like in the past 3 years, we've really been trying to like build on like what is going to be the culminating event. So when we start in 5th grade, what's going to be our North Star? Where are we going to end it? So I'm really excited to have the Career Academy marketing that we have ready to go. And so I'm going to go through these highlights and kind of go through the certificates. So we now have Career Academies at all of our 7 high schools. By completing a certificate program, students are going to earn an entry-level employable credential. They can put it on their resume they completed a college program in 4 courses. They get a chance to walk with RCC, so you can be a junior, complete the certificate, and go walk for the RCC graduation before you even complete high school graduation. So that's kind of cool. You get a chance to confirm their academic and career interests while in high school. We're really trying hard to make sure we're aligning all of our CTE pathways to their pathways. So it's almost like a 6, 7, 8 course pathway, because they're just building stackable skills and credentials as they continue to progress as upper level courses. And again, going back to, we want them ready first in line for those upcoming jobs. They're getting specific industry aligned skills and training through these programs. And then they get it for free tuition, free textbooks, all paid for Randolph County School System. So here are the academies kind of brought to you, and this is what we're going to push out to the communities. So definitely get your feedback on this. So we work with RCC Marketing to develop the certificates and kind of feature all the academies we spoke about. So on the front, it's going to show our workforce roadmap. Those are the culminating academies, okay? Because a little bit about, just like going back to what I talked about the past 2 years, is each school with their specific academy is going to have protected, like 10 protected seats. They're going to get a preferred registration window, and then after that registration window is then it'll be open to everyone. So in healthcare prep, for example, in Eastern Randolph, you have medical office assistant. Let's say Eastern only fills 7 seats, preferred window ends, then someone in Southwest can step in and take those other 3 seats if it's open. So it can be accessed across the board. So I'm gonna come around to it. And so I'm just gonna kind of point out a couple things. So RCC Marketing did a really nice job kind of making it very user-friendly, because it's a lot of information. So really quick, so this is the Business and Finance Academy. So we have 17 different pages, all with one-pagers that we can put in the hands of our families and students. So it's very easy to understand as we go through the registration process. So it talks about the purpose of the certificate, and we know this is a Randleman Academy. We've got a wonderful little tiger head right there. And so they'll all have the school logos across the top. It talks about why accounting and finance. It talks about what types of jobs you would take, and then it lists, hey, your recommended high school pathways. So at Randleman, we have a lot of business classes. So we wanted an extension of business. So you have Sales 1, Sales 2 at Randleman High School. You have the 3 business courses, and then it lists the 4 courses in the certificate. These are the recommended guidelines. You don't have to follow that per se. It kind of gives you, like, if you're interested in knocking out the year, you can take 2 courses in the fall, 2 courses in the spring, and some of these CT classes are designated as honors, and so we put an H on the ones that are honors classes. And at the end, again, if you take 2 in the fall, 2 in the spring, you'll be a graduate by the time you finish that spring semester. So that's Randleman. I'm gonna pull up PG really quick so you can see the credential piece. All right, so here's PG, Cybersecurity Academy. You can see the Patriot, talks about what it is, why to do it, And so this pathway with computer engineering, that's kind of the extension of it. It talks about the high school credentials. So it's a 3-course pathway in high school. It's recommended and not required. Some of these do have some required courses. It lists the high school credentials. It talks about the 5 courses, and then it talks about the RCC credentials you can get. So you can just see how much a student can boost their resume just by completing a CTE pathway and the RCC certificate before they graduate. So to me, I think this is a huge resume builder and gets kids ready. And these CompTIA credentials are nationally recognized, and those are nationally recognized. So those are a lot of credentials students can have by the time they enter their first job. Okay? So, and there are 17 more like this. In the interest of time, I won't go through them all. But what are your thoughts on the marketing?
That's great.
David, one thing, Shane, can you pull that screen back up? So, as David says, the recommended high school pathways, they're recommended to go to, who has Farm Tech? Who's got Farm Tech? Southwest High.
Southwest and Eastern.
So, there's a little difference, where's that? There's a slight,
Are you looking for Farm Tech?
yeah.
Go to Healthcare Prep
Tell me
Academy.
how far to go.
Keep going. Keep going. One more. There you go. Go. Back up.
So here's the difference. There's a slight difference on this one and another. There are required high school courses that they have to take to get to the, they have to take those 2 required. So, David, I think we found 2 that has required, is that right?
Yes,
What's the other one?
So for this one is Health Science 1 and 2, and you have to get these high school credentials. And the other one is our in-person computer integrated machining, which is really a fancy way of manufacturing for that program. So the manufacturing program is in person, just because it's hard to replicate that virtually.
And that's the program, those 2 were at Radlin and Eastern.
Yes, sir. So, and that kind of ends, so that's going to end the workforce roadmap, and so I'm excited this year, we're really trying to take steps to go K4. I've got to think outside the box, because I don't have like CTE staff, but we're looking to really creatively think with principals and other school-based staff to provide some activities, so that way the learning starts at kindergarten. So that's a big focus for this year, to team develop those employability skills. Any questions about the workforce roadmap? And that's what we're going to call it. That's going to be our big initiative, that name. So all of this will be tucked under our Randolph County School System Workforce Roadmap, College and Career Readiness for all students.
And David, all our counselors will have this and all our CDCs, so this should be a tool, a real organized tool for them to be able to look and see, and then I guess the priority time, they know not to look at these other academies, but when the priority window's over, they can start looking for their students as well.
Yes, sir.
And my understanding is seats were set aside by RCC for our academies, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is
And
there
we're
seats?
about 10 seats per academy.
So these aren't everybody, board members that are trying to take some of the community college, these seats are protected for our school system. I guess until if we don't use them, then you would open them back up. So that means our kids have a real big jump start, and that kind of talks about how long this process has taken and the amount of work that's been going on between RCC and RCSS to get this planned out. So.
You know, it's, when I first started on this board, we had just started the Randolph Early College. It was in the works. And, you know, that was a great thing, the big thing, but basically, it's all over now. You got early college, any school, any high school, basically, you can do whatever you want in Randolph County. That's a big deal. But it also has a lot to do with people driving the buses. So, you know, it just like the marketing, just like all the planning, just like I've told you, you're a good spokesman. You're great to sell a program, a cheerleader. And it takes that. I mean, it's a program where people don't just sit back and you got to put it out there and you got to do it right. And, I mean, I appreciate that, the way you guys work with our school system. I do have a question. I don't know if anybody knows the answer. How many, like for instance, RCC, Randolph Community College kids come from our school system at some point or other? Any idea how many?
This fall, we have 637 enrolled in the CCD program from Randolph County Schools.
Is that like over 50%?
That is about 60%.
60%?
So y'all's enrollment.
So 60%
60%
are enrolled.
enrolled.
That's pretty cool.
That's great.
That says a lot.
And Mr. Cook, to the point, and David has done a great job, and it started back with Nancy Cross, who was starting year 2. We took a hard look at those CCP courses way back when, and what was the landscape looking. We've talked about this many times, about how many schools were using CCP and how many weren't. And that landscape changed. It changed over time. It started to make sure it's promoted on every campus. I remember there was a high school that only used 5 seats the year we were looking back at. And then it went to RCC. I remember, I can't remember if it was Providence Grove first or Wheatmore first, but one semester an instructor went out to, let's just say Wheatmore, Providence, whichever, and brought the instruction to the campus, and then the next semester it was the other of those high schools, and that kind of opened up some things. And now we've gotten so many online courses or remote instruction courses, so it's really opened it up. And one of the things I'm really proud of, because I know it's costly, and I know Marty knows it's costly, and David knows it's costly, but when you start saying we're gonna provide the books and the non-reusable materials for kids, that opens it up even more. If you're asking people to buy books, which is not what you do when they're in our regular high school courses, that starts making people, making a different situation. So,
Very expensive.
and I know I've heard Shay Grosh talk about how hard she works to get textbook back, and I know we do the same with CCP to get the textbooks back when the courses are over, so we don't have to rebuy and rebuy and rebuy. But I think that's a huge feature that's happening in our school system that I don't know that it's happening everywhere. I'm not sure it is, but I know it's happening here. And there's been a lot of hard work to make it work, make that work out.
I don't know if you ladies know it or not, well, you probably do, but the early college, the past couple months at board meetings, I mean, I've never seen so many kids in my life in Beta Club. Have you? I mean, it's amazing from that, so, I mean, I know Andrea and Beverly tricked me one night and said, you just got to, I'll finish the awards, and they didn't tell me there was 100 more people left, but everybody else did 6. And you remember that night? You guys all laughed at me. It was a setup. But, that's pretty cool, that many people. I said, that's a record for Beta Club members, but working together with you guys, that's a big deal in Randolph County Schools. I hope it goes both ways, I'm sure.
Well, Mr. Cook, I think your comment has a lot of, the comment about the early college is now open to everybody. Yeah, the early college still has its school and its culture.
The number
and
system and the culture is good for that.
But there's several things early college provides that's now open to many other students who aren't at early college, and I think that's important as far as these CCP classes and the ability to get to these college classes while still in high school. So I think it's just a progression, and I think the early college in many ways probably showed that could continue to happen. I mean, they set a tremendous example from day one of that could happen, and our kids can be successful on that college campus, no question about it. They can be and have been. So it's,
you know how that
really
started? You had to go, when that first started, you had a group of our staff from down here, and they would go to each middle school, like in the 8th grade, and they would try to sell, if you're interested, have a meeting with each quadrant, and you would get about, I went to those, when they first started, and you'd have some parents come out, well, this interests you to go to the early college, you'll miss the sports part and some of that, the downside. But the positive side, you'll walk out with that associate's degree, plus you'll, smaller numbers, and sometimes that's a better environment for some. And it's been quite successful, but it is cool to see it, how, that's just bounced off, and now it's pretty cool.
And I mean, we have huge partnerships that make all this stuff happen. Our school-based teams are amazing. Like the advising's amazing because, as you can see, there's so many options now. So it really truly takes a partnership to, in those buildings with principals and counselors and all that, to really get around that CDP and have those tailored conversations, because there are just so many options now. And we have a ton of great industry partners that help us provide these experiences. So I appreciate that as well.
And I think it's important that we continue, the legislators need to continue to see what this partnership is doing, because it's providing opportunities for kids, because it's no mystery. you know, we're looking for funding and support from the state, and so is RCC, and we both have to have it. One can't go and get it, and one not get it, for all this to work. So, I think that's just I hope we can continue to promote it and make sure our legislators are seeing it, because it's not the only place this is happening, but, pretty proud of what's going on here, so, thank you guys for coming today.
Job placement, is there job placement tied to this for seniors?
Not yet, and that's the next big piece, is like, how do we, like, once like the jobs, we start getting here, what does that look like? And those are some data numbers I need to track, like, so once they get through the end of the workforce roadmap, like, what does that placement look like? I do know that, like, in CTE, like, our students that complete CTE pathway, there's about a 97% chance they're gonna end up at a 2-year degree, 4-year degree, or, right directly into the workforce. So, like, we track the CTE students, but I need to figure out a way how to track it for everyone.
I didn't know if Randolph County Schools or RCC had some type of, when they completed these programs, that local companies, you know, went to them to try to pick employees or not.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think that's like the next big task for us, is how do we bridge, like, for those, especially those seniors, like, how do we, or is it asking, how do we place them, like,
Right.
if a company had an opening?
To give them some options, but also the industries that's involved with it. Of course, they know they can come to you, I hope.
Oh, yes,
And,
sir.
but, you know, for job placement that way too.
We're also looking at increasing like internship opportunities and more apprenticeship opportunities, work-based learning, and really getting kids in the industries doing like semester CTE internship credits. That's also our next big front as we continue to extend the roadmap.
Commissioner Lanier, I think that's a great question, comment, because that's what's been so exciting to me about Apprenticeship Randolph. We hook them with a company.
That's right.
The company takes them from us and takes them forward. Community college is helping us support them while they're in with the company, and then here they go. They've got a job, and you know, the added plus is they walk out with the associate degree and they don't have any debt from the degree. But they do have a career placement office, I guess it would be, right? That I'm sure the businesses or companies are calling, and I don't think that's going to get any less moving forward. Do you have graduates? I mean, the college universities have always had those of some, in some sort, whatever they call them, those offices. So.
And I would like to recognize my partnership around from work with RCC. So we have Misty West, Associate Dean of Educational Partnerships and Pathways. We have Gray Lane, Dean of Art Sciences and Education, and Melinda Udi, Associate Vice President of Learning and Workforce. And of course, the President, Dr. Shaw Arlen, he couldn't make it, but I do appreciate them and their partnership to help us with all these activities and experiences.
So when will this go, like, out, start?
As soon as Mr. Ward can mash the button, not even the button, I don't know what to call it. Computer, what?
It's going out in just a few minutes.
And is that like a
So-
like
so-
an
so
email
here-
broadcast or Facebook,
Yeah.
social media?
Release to, local news.
So I was wondering how the engagement was gonna be to like the parents, especially for like fifth graders.
You know,
how do
you know
kind
what
of
the
buy
slogan
into
is?
it?
Yeah.
Shannon, before you got here, you know the slogan in Randolph County? Here it is, I'm gonna make it right now. Whether it's the 9-year plan, early college, we started, others duplicate.
That's right.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I can tell you how many plans, how many things.
I think it gives us a great place to point to now. It gives us a landing spot to point to where, you know, you can pick other landing spots, but we now, this document is a huge landing spot for us to point to. And just some of the stories that come out of Apprenticeship Randolph have been tremendous over time. And here we are, let's see what comes out of this one.
How many of those kids, like this year, were Randolph County schools, do you know?
I had to look back at the numbers.
I
but
mean,
we-
is it still carrying the bigger majority?
Yes,
Okay.
yep, our kids have taken advantage of that program from day one.
We usually play about 12 to 14 each season.
And I say our kids, but it's not just the kids, it's the parents too. They've encouraged their children, the ones that have gone in, and that's part of it too, is that encouragement from mom and dad. Obviously, our staff, counselors, and career development coordinators are pushing it, but it takes that from home too. And that's
It all started in 6th grade when they ate a funnel cake.
That's it, right there in the parking lot, that's
Yeah,
it.
you
Where
can't
dreams
beat
come
that.
true. That's it.
And they saw the hearse out there.
That's it. Hey, as far as like the marketing goes,
Yeah.
like now that this is like released, like we're gonna be building like pathway documents to show all how that progresses in their community. We're gonna work with school-based teams and make sure their communities know this exists. So really like telling our story this year is gonna be a big part of it now that we've kind of have like the big framework developed, so. And then also like the CDP exists. I wanna make sure parents are talking to their students about, or their children about the CDP. It's in their Google Drive, all kids should be able to access it, and just like having conversations around like what they wanna do and how they wanna get there.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you ladies coming.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, it's hard to follow David Cross. David, I appreciate you burning up all my time, so I'll go through this real quick. It's hard to believe, it's like life. We're buzzing through the first quarter of the year already, and so tonight I'm going to bring you an update on the first quarter budget and finance. Go ahead. Tonight we'll be talking about the revenues, expenses for state, current expense, federal, capital outlay, school nutrition, AP tax. I'll share with you the cash balances as of September 30. Charter school enrollment, where we are at the present, areas to watch, and then I'll answer any questions that you guys may have. So first fund is Fund 1, state. Reason you're not seeing revenues here, your expenses and revenues, you only request the funds that you spend each month. So I didn't do a separate slide for the revenues, but for the expenses, 24-25, so far first quarter we spent $26,089,540, which is a $2,893,740 increase over prior year, or 12.48%. Keep in mind, we had a 3% salary increase, so that's probably a portion of that. Some of the ESSER funding went away, so we had to flip some of those things that we were spending out of ESSER over to back to state. Current expense, revenues and expenses. For revenues, for the first quarter, we're at $7,256,042. That's a $1,576,611 increase over prior year, or 27.76% increase. For the expenses, towards the bottom there, we've spent $4,833,868, which is $392,362 more than the prior year, or 8.83%. Next item is your federal programs. Again, keep in mind, ESSER funding, some of the ESSER funding has gone away. And so for the expenses this time, we're at $3,477,081, which is $111,680 less from last year, or a negative 3.11%. State and federal operate the same way. You draw down the revenues based on what you spend for the period. So that's why I didn't show the revenues as well. Revenues, expenses for capital outlay. First quarter revenues was $544,000, which is a $3,288 increase from prior year, or a 0.607%. For expenses, we're at $1,139,766. That is less $148,516 from prior year, or a minus 11.53. And a lot of that in capital outlay just depends on the project, the size of it, and the timing. If we're able to do more in the summers, then that number is typically a little higher, but it's a little bit lower than we did the previous year. School nutrition. Revenues for school nutrition was $598,899. That is actually a $1,096,982 decrease over prior year, or a negative 64.69. Last year there were several USDA grants that hit first quarter that we didn't have this quarter, so that's the difference in that offset there. For expenses, first quarter was $1,613,125. It's pretty much in line with last year, or $93,499 more, 6.15% increase. AT tax, the special school tax there in that area. Revenues was $1,703,507. That's a $52,134 decrease over prior year, or a negative 2.97. Some of that is based on when they get their prior year taxes in. So we get those as soon as they collect them. So if they don't collect it particular time, we don't get it until it's actually turned in. So that is the difference from previous years. So last year at this time, they had more prior year taxes submitted and received than we did this year. First quarter expenses was $428,159, or $36,235 over prior year, or a 9.25% increase. Okay, so for your cash balances as of September 30, 2024, current expense was $10,457,961. Capital outlay was $596,880. School nutrition was $6,509,061. And Marshall Trinity school tax was $1,389,905. Keep in mind too that the cash fluctuates throughout the year. So for example, in November when we pay out the supplements, that'll drop about $4 million right off the bat when we pay out those supplements. So that's the numbers as of 9/30. The next quarter, they'll look very different, I'm sure. Charter school enrollment. So I gave a little history on this slide to show you 4 years, I guess current year and 3 previous years. For 21-22, we ended with 1,309 Randolph County students attending charter schools. In 22-23, we ended with 1,356 of our students attending charters. Last year, we had 1,504 attending charters. And so far this year, we're at 1,581. Now, I'll point out here, previously we had, last year we had 22 charters and 2 virtuals. So far this year, we've had 20 charters reporting and 2 virtual charters. So there's 5 charters that had our students last year that have not actually reported yet or sent us an invoice. So I would expect those to come in anytime soon. I know some of the issues that they've had, just like public schools, they switched their student accounting over to Infinite Campus, and so they've had issues with that. So I know one particular charter reached out to us and said, hey, we've had all kinds of issues with our numbers, so we'll get you a number later. So I think that's probably part of the issue with some of these that have not reported yet. Out of those 5 charters, there's still about 45 kids. If you look at last year, there's still 45 kids that have not been billed to us. So we'll be over the 100 increase that we had budgeted for. So we're going to be over that from prior year if all 45 of those kids end up being billed back to us in the next few weeks, I would say. URA charter, that's where a bulk of our students go. We have 1,312 Randolph County School System students attending there. That's a 102 increase over prior year. In our virtual academies, we've got 52 of our students attending those, and that's an increase of 9 over prior year. For year-to-date expense, and this is just for the 1,581 that's been submitted so far, that expense has been $643,614. And on average, that's $1,627 per student. So that number will rise as these others 5 charters report. And then each month we get a billing. We look at their roster, we verify where they live, and we pay based on what they've sent us. So that number will continue to increase as I go forward with quarterly reports. And then finally, just a couple areas to watch. The ESSER funding, as you know, is going away. That ended on September 30, 24. We're in the liquidation period now. That actually ends 12/29/24. And what that means is we had to have all those funds encumbered by September 30th of 24. And they gave us until December the 29th of 24 to get those paid out. So anything that's been encumbered at that point will have to be invoiced and paid by the end of December, or close to the end of December. I'm not sure why the 29th date, but it is what it is. That's the date we're going with. So the 29th of December will be the final day we can write in checks for any ESSER funding. And then finally, energy costs, that fluctuates so much from year to year. We'll keep an eye on that. Fingers crossed we'll have a mild winter and we'll be in good shape with that. But that just, that goes up and down every year. So we have to keep an eye on that. So any other questions or any questions for me?
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you, Marty. You well?
Good evening, board members. Tonight I bring to you our first quarter student assignments. Sorry, for the 24-25 school year. I will share that instead of it being like the quarter 45 days, it's actually, I used the first 20-day numbers. So that 9/23/24 is our enrollment day, which is the first 20 days of school enrollment. So I'll just remind you of the columns as you go across the top. Capacity is the capacity of the building, it does not include mobile unit capacity. The enrollment number again there is the enrollment for the students at the time of 9/23/24. I will remind you that we have 6 elementary schools that have pre-K that's included in those numbers, and you see those indicated by the double asterisk beside the elementary school. The third column is the capacity of each school. As a reminder with our current guidelines, if they're at 90 to 95%, we put them on a watch list, which is why you have 2 that are highlighted in yellow. And then if they're at 95% or greater, those are the ones that we would deny new requests for. And right now we have 1 school, and that would be Ramblin' High School. Moving to the fourth column, that's our mobile units. Our mobile units actually stayed the same at 80. However, 4 of the mobile units that were at Braxton Craven have been moved to Hopewell. So you'll see that indicated here. I mean, out of the 4, 2 have been moved to Hopewell. So you'll see Hopewell's 2 listed, and then the ones beside Trinity Middle, those 2 are still the 2 sitting at Braxton Craven. So again, our mobile unit number has remained 80. There's just been 2 relocated. Going on across that reassignment is the number of students that, the 2 next columns, the positive and the negative, are reassignments. That's the students that are assigned to the Randolph County School System attendance zone that are attending a school other than their assigned school. So the first column, I'm going to use Archdale as an example. There are 12 students attending Archdale Elementary that are not residing currently domiciled in the Archdale Elementary District, whereas the next column represents 66. We have 66 elementary students that are attending a different elementary school that could be attending Archdale, that would be assigned to Archdale. And then the last 2 columns are our releases and our admissions. Again, the releases, as a reminder, those are only to public schools that do not including charter schools. And then admissions are admissions to us. And then that last column is the net gain from for each individual school. So if we scroll all the way down to the bottom row, you will see that as of 9/23/24, we had 14,988 students enrolled. Out of those, 190 are pre-K students. Then if you keep going across, we have 970, if I've done my math correctly, those should be the same, those are the students moving around. We have 970 students within our school system attendance zone that are attending different schools than where they are domiciled. Then we released 424 students total, we have admitted 363, so as a system, we have a net loss of 61 students. And then just as a reminder at that end, that number has been as low as 10 and as high as 153. And then for reassignments, last year that reassignment number at this time was 1010. So we have 40 less students that have been reassigned than what we had in the past. So, any questions for me for the first quarter student assignments?
I have a question on the, I know someone's asked it before. The capacity of Randleman High School, like 912, and the enrollment is 868. That's building wise, right?
The 912 is just the building, exactly. That does not include the 21 mobile unit classes.
Okay, answer me one question. I often wonder this. How do we have 21 mobile units when the school's not full? Are they all in use, or is that just special class? How did we get to that point?
I think that Randleman High School was probably bigger than 912 at one point. That's probably what
So
led
that's
to
where
the
they
curves.
come. Are they all in use? Or?
I'd say a good number of them are,
I was just curious if it were.
but I
Because,
wouldn't say every one of
when
them
you
is.
think of that, that's a fair question. I mean,
Yeah.
because I'm thinking, you always hear the 21 mobile units, but every time I look at this, it's not exactly.
I think our class sizes have probably increased largely.
I'm just thinking
compared
if,
to when that
back
was built,
before,
so that
it was
impacts
1,200 or
the
1,300 kids at one time, and that's probably.
Yeah. The other thing that Winna says is very accurate too, with K-3 class size rule, it forced the classes from grades 4 to 12 to increase. So you probably, well, I know you have more kids sitting in grades 4 through 12 classrooms than you did 7, 8 years ago when the K-3 class size was 21. That was gonna move that bubble up. We knew that was
I'm
coming,
just
but,
curious how many of them is
yeah.
in use, actually. I mean, if they've been there that long, I would think some of them probably in pretty bad shape, maybe.
That's the problem with, I think the last two at Braxton Craven, I don't think are
They look like they need to be
movable.
chunked.
Yeah, that when the building comes down, they'll come down too.
Is that something you could just, for curiosity's sake, at some point, we could just find out maybe how many of those are usable? I'd just like to kind of, I mean, when you pull over and you go into the cul-de-sac, no matter what we do or whatever, but when you see that, you look across,
It's what you see when you pull in randomly.
yeah, it's what you see.
It's what you see.
And I mean, that's, you don't see, nothing else jumps, you don't see the school,
No.
you see the trailer park.
I know, that's what I hate at Grace Chapel. I hate those out there in the front.
Yeah.
You just-
I mean, you see a nice
now we got it in
stadium,
Hopewell.
and then you see a trailer
And that
park.
big old school, that new school.
Two stuck out there.
I'll be glad to research that for you.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
They're not even ready. When are the ones that
I
Hopewell?
mean, what do we
will be ready?
normally do? Because, I mean, do we just try to sell those? Do we, I mean, just let them stay forever until?
Well, some of them are ours, right,
What's the
and some of
normal
them we rent,
what
right?
do?
Release 69.
We own 69, there's 80 trailers left. When I first came here, there was 108 in the school system, now we're down to 80. And my count shows that we own 69 of the 80 trailers. So, if it comes to that, I guess there could be an opportunity to sell them, but then, I'm pretty sure we own the two that are still sitting at Braxton Craven and they're not sellable. So that's, when I first got here, there were a bunch of trailers out in front of Southeast Randolph Middle School. And a lot of those have been moved, and Southwest High had a row of trailers right down as you're riding behind the gym. And most of those have been moved. What they've been trying to do, that reduction from 108 to 80, has been getting leased trailers off our dollar figure. Because the lease rate has gone incredibly high compared to where it was.
We can start a scrap metal program.
You can have a demo CTE program. Wreck-It Ralph, Travis Ralph.
David's
David.
thinking right
Yeah, you
now.
can start it. We can,
Talk to me.
We got a lot, look.
yep.
We got 80.
All right, board members, the last thing for the work session is your calendar of events. I do not see anything that is new. I did not see anything new that was added. We still have some dates there at the end of the year in May because the commissioners have not set their budget process dates yet. So you still have a May 2025. That's all you have for number 7. And then number 10 and 11 have not been set yet, but they'll be set soon, probably the next month or so. I think they set them in January. No, it won't be the next month or so. It'll probably be January when they announce those, if I remember right. So that's all we have for you today, unless you have anything else. All right, we'll see you at the board meeting.